The Grand Plaza Hotel stood exactly as I remembered it, 40 stories of luxury and legacy, where my family had celebrated every major occasion for 3 generations. Tonight was no different. My father's 60th birthday, a milestone celebration that would bring together the entire Harrison clan. I adjusted my simple black dress, not designer but elegant enough, and took a deep breath. 3 years had passed since I'd walked away from the family business, refusing to sell my small boutique hotel to Harrison Hotels. 3 years of being the family failure, the disappointment, the cautionary tale. "Good evening, miss," the doorman said, not recognizing me. Why would he? The last time I was here I'd been Isabella Harrison, heir apparent. Now I was just Bella, the black sheep who dared to dream differently. The ballroom was already packed with Chicago's elite. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, their light catching on diamond necklaces and gold watches. My cousin Marcus spotted me first, nearly choking on his champagne. "Well, look who dared to show up," he sneered. "The prodigal daughter returns." I ignored him, scanning the room. Mom was holding court near the window, probably discussing her latest charity gala. My brother James stood with Dad near the stage, both in matching tuxedos, the perfect picture of Harrison Hotel's future. "Isabella." My mother's voice cut through the crowd. "I didn't expect you to come." "It's Dad's birthday," I said simply. She looked me over, noting the lack of designer labels. "Yes, well, try not to cause a scene. Your father's in an excellent mood. Harrison Hotels just acquired the legacy chain in Europe." I bit back a smile, thinking of the documents sitting in my office across town. If only they knew. "Congratulations," I murmured. "Bella." My sister Catherine Eyre kissed my cheek, her diamonds probably worth more than my first hotel's annual revenue, or so she thought. "Still playing innkeeper with that little boutique of yours?" "Something like that," I said, accepting a glass of champagne from a passing waiter. "Ladies and gentlemen." Dad's voice boomed through the ballroom. "Thank you all for coming tonight." The crowd gathered around as he took the stage, every inch the successful hotel magnate. James stood proudly at his side while Mom beamed from the front row. 60 years, Dad continued, and Harrison Hotels has never been stronger. Today we're not just celebrating my birthday, but also our largest acquisition to date. Applause filled the room. I stayed in the back sipping my champagne. "But first," his voice hardened slightly, "a family matter to address." The room quieted. I felt eyes turn toward me. 3 years ago someone chose to break from family tradition. To reject our legacy. To pursue a smaller path. His eyes found mine in the crowd. "Tonight I want to make something clear. Harrison Hotels has no room for those who don't share our vision of excellence." My hand tightened around the champagne glass. "Therefore," he continued, "as of tonight, we're officially removing Isabella from the Harrison Trust Fund and all family business interests. We don't associate with failures." The silence was deafening. Catherine smirked while James looked anywhere but at me. Mom simply nodded as if this was both expected and deserved. Just then my phone buzzed. The message made me smile. "Global acquisition complete. Aurora Hotels now owns 51% of Harrison Hotels' European properties." I looked up at my father, still standing proudly on stage, completely unaware that while he was busy disowning me, I'd just become his biggest competitor. The hotel manager, Mr. Phillips, rushed past me toward the stage, his face pale. He was clutching a tablet, probably displaying the same news I'd just received. But before he could reach Dad, he did a double take, finally recognizing me. "Ms. Harrison," he exclaimed, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "I didn't realize. Your hotel chain's expansion is brilliant. The Aurora Hotels portfolio is extraordinary." The champagne glass in Mom's hand slipped, shattering on the marble floor. Sometimes timing really is everything. The silence that followed Mr. Phillips' outburst was delicious. Dad froze mid-sentence on stage, his triumphant smile faltering. James frantically pulled out his phone, probably checking the breaking news alerts. Catherine's perfectly maintained facade cracked as she whispered urgently to her husband, a banking executive who was already looking at me with newfound interest. "Aurora Hotels?" Mom finally managed, her voice weak. "But that's the company that's been acquiring luxury properties across Europe. 36 properties in the last 2 years," I confirmed, taking another sip of champagne. Plus that charming little boutique hotel you all laughed at. You know, my failure that started it all. Mr. Phillips was still standing there, tablet in hand, looking between me and my father with growing discomfort. Sir, I tried to tell you, the European acquisition. What about our European acquisition? Dad demanded, stepping down from the stage. It's been superseded, I said quietly. Aurora Hotels now holds controlling interest in the legacy chain. Which means we also control the Harrison properties that were part of the merger agreement. The ballroom erupted in whispers. Chicago's elite loved nothing more than family drama, and this was better than any soap opera. Impossible, James stepped forward. We've been working on that deal for months. Every detail was confidential. I smiled, thinking of all those family dinners I'd missed, all those calls I'd ignored. They thought I was hiding in shame when really I was building an empire. You know what your biggest mistake was? I set down my glass. Assuming I was just running one small hotel. You never bothered to check what else I was doing. Dad's face had turned an alarming shade of red. How dare you? This is my birthday party. Yes, and you just used it to publicly disown me, I reminded him. Seems only fair I share my news too. Catherine pushed forward. But where did you get the money? We cut off your trust fund years ago. You really think that little boutique hotel was losing money? I laughed softly. It was profitable from day one. I used that profit to buy another hotel, then another. Created a new brand. Built something of my own while you were all busy mocking my small dreams. Mr. Harrison, a board member called from across the room. Your phone is ringing. It's the European investors. Dad pulled out his phone, hands shaking slightly. This isn't over, Isabella. Actually, it is, I said. Aurora Hotels now controls enough of your European properties to have significant say in Harrison Hotels' operations. Which means that trust fund you just revoked. It's worth less than my quarterly dividends. The crowd parted as Thomas Chin, my chief financial officer, entered the ballroom. Unlike me, he was dressed for battle in a perfectly tailored suit that probably cost more than my first car. Ms. Harrison, he nodded professionally, ignoring the stares. The paperwork is ready for your signature. Shall we use your father's office upstairs? Dad's eyes widened. My office? You can't. Actually, she can, Thomas said smoothly. As the owner of this hotel's controlling company, Ms. Harrison has full access to all facilities. Mom sank into a nearby chair, her social mask finally cracking completely. Owner? But this has been our hotel for 3 generations. I finished. And now it's part of Aurora Hotels. Don't worry, we'll maintain the Harrison name. After all. I smiled at my father, it's part of my heritage too. The next few hours were a blur of lawyers, documents, and shocked family members trying to comprehend how their failure had outmaneuvered them all. I sat in Dad's former office, my office now, signing papers while the birthday party dissolved into chaos below. The European board is waiting for your conference call. Thomas informed me, arranging documents with efficient precision. And your brother James is outside. He seems agitated. Let him in, I said, removing my simple black dress to reveal the power suit underneath. No more playing the prodigal daughter. James burst in, his perfect hair finally disheveled. How long have you been planning this? Since the day Dad laughed at my business plan, I replied, signing another document. Remember? He said a boutique hotel focusing on personalized experience would never compete with massive chains. But that's not what you built, James said slowly. Aurora Hotels is huge. No, I agreed. I built something better. I took the boutique concept and scaled it. Every property in our portfolio maintains that personal touch while operating at luxury scale. Something Harrison Hotels never figured out. Dad's furious, he slumped into a chair. He's talking about fighting this in court. He'll lose, Thomas stated flatly. We've spent 3 years making sure every acquisition was legally bulletproof. A knock at the door interrupted us. Mom entered, looking older than I'd ever seen her. Isabella, your father would like to speak with you. Board meeting in 10 minutes, I reminded Thomas, who nodded and left with the papers. Send Dad in. He walked in like a man attending his own funeral rather than his birthday party. Gone was the commanding presence, the arrogant surety that had dominated my childhood. How much? He asked without preamble. Excuse me. How much to buy back what's ours? I leaned back in his former chair, my chair now. You still don't get it, do you? This isn't about money. It's about vision. Harrison Hotels stopped innovating years ago. You were so busy maintaining tradition that you missed where the industry was heading. And you know better? He scoffed, but the usual bite was missing from his voice. Our occupancy rates are 40% higher than yours. Our customer satisfaction scores are unprecedented. And our profit margins. I smiled. Well, that's why we could afford to buy your European properties. He sank into a chair, suddenly looking every bit of his 60 years. What do you want? I want what I've always wanted, to build something meaningful. Aurora Hotels isn't just about luxury, it's about experience. Every property tells a story, creates memories. That little boutique hotel you mocked? It became the template for our entire chain. And now you'll what? Dismantle everything we built. No, I said softly. I'm going to make it better. Starting with this hotel. I stood up, walking to the window that overlooked Chicago's skyline. You taught me one valuable lesson, Dad. You showed me exactly what not to do as a leader. The intercom buzzed. Miss Harrison? The board is ready. Dad stood slowly. So this is it? Revenge served cold. This isn't revenge, I corrected him. It's evolution. Harrison Hotels needed to change. You weren't willing to do it, so I did it for you. And us. Your family. I turned to face him. You're the one who just disowned me in front of hundreds of people. But unlike you, I don't mix business with petty emotions. You and James can keep your positions, if you're willing to learn new ways of doing things. Under your leadership, he said bitterly. Under better leadership, I corrected. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a board meeting to run. As he left, I heard the whispers in the hallway, saw the staff already adjusting to the new reality. By morning, everyone would know. The Harrison Hotel empire hadn't just changed hands, it had evolved. 1 month later, I stood in the lobby of my first boutique hotel, the failure that had started it all. The small space still felt like home even now that I controlled properties worth billions. Miss Harrison? A young employee approached, looking nervous. Your father and brother are here for the meeting. I smiled, remembering another nervous employee another time. Send them to the rooftop garden. They entered cautiously, taking in the spectacular space that had once been a simple storage area. Now it was a testament to my vision, intimate yet grand, luxurious yet welcoming. Nice view, James offered. It's where I planned everything, I told them. Every acquisition, every innovation right here where you said I'd fail. Dad looked around, finally seeing what I'd seen all along. Teach me, he said quietly. And so, on a rooftop garden above a tiny boutique hotel, 3 generations of Harrison Hotel expertise began to transform into something new. Something better. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's proving yourself right so completely that they have no choice but to learn from their mistakes. And sometimes, just sometimes, family businesses need to fail before they can truly succeed.